Shalom, it's Jeremiah Yakal. Before you start off, want to give praises to the Father and Son. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakah Kadash. Yahweh is to the people ignorantly called God, and Yahushua is to the people ignorantly called Jesus. You so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Americans, you are the Hebrew Israelites. Today I'm going to be hitting a precept. That 8.8 earthquake hit off the coast of Russia. And it was causing, 2 tsunami warnings and evacuations on the whole west coast of the U.S. And, in different parts in Asia like Japan. And Hawaii. And if you was looking at, them videos, the interstates and all that was crowded and packed with people trying to get to higher ground and stuff like that. And, being in these last days, in the end, we should expect, things like this, events like this to become, more common, more frequent. Because we know that it being the end, all hell is going to break loose. People going to be going mad. But, also, the Lord's going to have the earth to act also. Like 2 tsunamis. We're seeing a lot of volcanoes start to erupt. There's been a lot of talk about, Yellowstone lately. And, a lot of people don't know that Yellowstone Park, which is in the U.S., is a very big volcano. It has been, just dormant for so long. And with it being dormant, they have people, built their houses and made parks and all that on Yellowstone. And, Yellowstone, could erupt also, man. And that would cause, a lot of damage. And on top of that, you have everything going on. It's like the perfect recipe for disaster. You got wars going on at the same time. It's like destruction and plagues is encamping and surrounding this earth. Round about. This is 2nd Esdras 16 and 12. The earth quaketh and the foundations thereof. The sea arises up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also before the Lord, and before the glory of his power. And that's 8.8. They said that was, since they've been recording earthquakes, it's the 6th most powerfulest earthquake in history. And, due to that earthquake happening where it happened, they said, 2 tsunamis. And, of course, those 2 tsunamis didn't destroy, whole cities, whole villages and stuff like that. It didn't this time, man. But, who knows, man? One day, a tsunami, could very well hit and wipe out, states, cities, if it be of the Lord's will. And when you look at this verse, it says, the sea ariseth up waves. It's from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof. When I think of that, man, I think of, not just calm, smooth sailing waves in the sea, but high, vicious, powerful, waves, man. As we're, going, deeper, into these last end days, day by day, man. More what they call natural disasters, but are really plagues, sent by Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, are going to happen. More tsunamis, more powerful earthquakes, hurricane season coming up, more destructive and frequent and common hurricanes. Verse 14, behold, the plagues are sent. The plagues are sent. And, they're doing what they were commanded and made to do. Cause a revoc and havoc and destruction, man. And, the elites that are in control of these different film companies depict these different movies, like 2012, like The Day Before Tomorrow, like Civil War. They're depicting and making out these movies because they know what's to come. These elites know that their destruction is on the way. But they're feeding the mass populations these movies like little breadcrumbs. Showing the people, what's to come. But, majority of the world, besides the brothers that know the truth, and some people what they call woke, they know a little something, but they don't really know a lot. They know that destruction is, coming, man. Verse 19, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. All these plagues are being, sent because, wickedness has been going on, in the earth. And if you go back to, the flood, when Noah and his family got saved, the Lord, cleansed the earth of its wickedness. And that's what these plagues are, doing. Are, cleansing, the earth. And just like in the days of Noah, Noah was a prophet. And now in these final days, you have the prophets, preaching the truth, telling, the people what's to come, just like how Noah was telling the people what's to come. But, it went on deaf ears. And just like today, the people sees, the brothers preaching the truth. And they think, they're crazy. They're mad for the things that they're saying. But really, you pushing this truth, telling people the disastrous things that's to come. You are the sane one. You are the one that's using your head. Just like how they called, thought, Noah was crazy. They think the brothers crazy today. But hey, if using wisdom gets people to call you crazy, then hey, call me crazy, man. But with that, hope this lesson was edifying through spirit and power. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. All praises unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Until next time, Shalom, Yahshua.